allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and at this time open up the floor to public comment. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3, and I'll call on Commissioner DeFelico to present Brian Hamilton as an award for his 25 years of service to Cumberland County. Brian, Bob, please come forward.
Quarter century now.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're celebrating Brian's 25 years of service with the county. He was hired in November 1993 as a part-time dispatcher. In August 94, became full-time. Promoted in September 1996 to dispatcher 2. Promoted January 2003 to shift leader. Promoted May 2004 to shift supervisor. Promoted January 2015 to technical systems manager, senior IT analyst. So Brian, you really come up through the ranks. Really appreciate your service to the county. And on behalf of my colleagues, we'd like to present you with your 25 years of service. I'd like to say anything, Robert. Feel free.
I certainly will. As our technical systems manager, certainly technology continues to grow. Brian oversees all those systems, the amount of dedication to make sure those systems continue to work. Certainly Brian, a lot of sleepless nights, thunderstorms and things like that. The electronic alarms come in, trips to the tower sites, resetting breakers, things like that. So thanks for your dedication and willingness to handle those items after hours, weekends. We really appreciate it. So he also volunteers as fire chief in Carlisle for many, many years. So your service to the community is also appreciated.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Next, Commissioner DeFelico will present Michelle Parsons with the proclamation and recognition of September 2019 as National Preparedness Month. Michelle, please come forward.
Yes, in recognition of National Preparedness Month, we are producing a proclamation today. And whereas National Preparedness Month is an opportunity to raise awareness of the importance of emergency preparedness and to encourage Cumberland County residents to better prepare their homes and communities for emergencies. And whereas a multitude of potential emergencies and disasters, including severe weather, fires, electrical outages, or acts of terrorism, may result in extensive damage to roads, streets, bridges, private homes, and businesses, and may cause other adverse impacts upon the general population of Cumberland County. And whereas the Commissioners of Cumberland County and the Department of Public Safety, along with other federal, state, county, and local emergency management officials, participate and support National Preparedness Month to raise awareness and promote the need for preparedness at home and work. And whereas in recognition of the need to adequately prepare, we call upon Cumberland County residents to recognize the importance of preparing for potential emergencies and observe this month by participating in preparedness events, activities, and programs at home and in the workplace. Now, therefore, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim September as Preparedness Month in Cumberland County, presented this 4th day of September by the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. Would you like to say?
Really, the service department, if the citizens do move around,
Yep.
be prepared. If you need any help being prepared, certainly contact our office. We have a lot of stuff on our social media, and we're here to help the public get that.
Thank you,
Thank
Michelle.
you, appreciate it.
Okay.
We're trying to get it first. Go get your certificate. Nice try.
Trying to get out of the picture.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to agenda item 5. Here we've got to discuss budget resolution 2019-23.
Finance is requesting approval for one budget resolution, the general fund's increasing expenses by $4.5 million. The resolution is adding budget to elections for the purchase of the voting system and the renovation to the storage of the machines. This will impact the general fund. The purchasing method does not affect the resolution.
Any questions, Commissioner? Thank you, Tina. Next, I'd like to call Bethany, who will be discussing an auction machine purchase. Bethany?
Good morning, Commissioners. So for the last year, as you know, we have gone over voting machines, vendors, quotes, hundreds of emails, phone calls, and choices and demonstrations. And we chose what we felt was the best voting machine for the county. And I think that we did that, and the Board of Elections did that. Unfortunately, during those processes and hundreds of emails, there was a miscommunication on my part of what the rate, the interest rate on a 5-year payment plan would be, as well as my understanding of the nature of CoStar's contract and the finer financial points of all of that. So I apologize for this misinformation. So the difference is that now if we chose the 5-year payment plan, there would be the interest included, or we can purchase outright, of course, that's also.
What was that amount of interest again?
5.04 or something like that, if they call it that. It's a little bit.
The dollar value, 383, 565.
So I gotta say, I was pretty shocked when I learned this yesterday. We were always under the impression, of the understanding that we would have the option of 0% purchase over 5 years if we wanted to take that. I don't know what happened, whether that was not in writing or, but we had understood, even because we didn't have to go out and bid with co-stars, that we would still have the ability to, essentially take advantage of 0% interest over 5 years. I, for one, this actually might go back to the resolution. I have a problem, approving that much of an expenditure from the general fund all at once on this, especially if we have the 0% interest over 5 years. So at this point in time, I don't know whether it was the vendor who gave us inaccurate information, but how do we learn about this now as opposed to previously? That's number one. And number two, I'm ready to propose that we go out to bid. If that's the issue, then we have to go with co-stars, because co-stars has this 5% interest over annually, and maybe we should go out to bid, and if that's the way to get the 5 years 0% interest.
Bethany, you want to answer something you want to say to that?
Yeah, so I will say the 0% interest was my mistake in all of the, hundreds of information back and forth, phone calls, meetings. There's some sort of miscommunication that happened. And then when we decided to purchase through CoStars, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have to follow what the CoStars contract says. And there is interest included in that.
So we can get that interest through
The third party leasing would get the interest. The vendor gets the base amount.
Right.
The lease goes through a third party. So that third party would get the interest.
And this was not intentional oversight, I understand. Keith, do we have any options? Do we have to go through co-stars with an effective price? Do we even know that?
The benefit of co-stars is presumably to have a lower price because it's been vetted by the state. And you avoid typically the length of of time necessary to go out to bid.
Daily kind of.
So the price of the equipment is set by CoStars. The lease is an option that they give you
Right.
in addition. So you can choose to lease through them or not lease through them. We could choose another option of borrowing money if we would choose. That could be less. This is just an option. But purchasing the equipment through CoStars is not tied to the lease. That's a secondary choice.
I think the question before us then goes to Commissioner Herzler's proposal, which is if we were to choose to bid, you know, what are our time constraints and would we have the likelihood of finding more favorable financing? Price aside, because I think it's well established that CoStars is not always the low price. So if we factor in the interest payment especially, can we get a better deal? And do we know, would we know that without going through the bidding process?
Are you looking for the potential better deal with the same brand of machine?
Well, it would have to be spec'd, you know, based on, you know, what we want. And I think we selected what we want. And if somebody else wants to make it, fine.
Well, then you're looking for another vendor that will produce the type of machine that you want, and you know there is one already. And I don't know enough about the different types of voting machines that are available. I don't know if they've been approved by the state. But is there another vendor that can produce the same type of machine similar to the one that is available on the CoStars?
This is the only vendor that has a full face voting machine, which is what we selected.
Can we deal directly with the vendor, you understand, in addition to the one-time price, a 5-year payment going to the interest?
So if we lease through CoStars, we have to follow the parameters. But we have other debt options available to us. We could go to a different third party and ask them to lease the equipment. But nobody's gonna give us a 0% interest when those deals
All
happen.
right, so it was represented to us that the company was gonna allow us to purchase over 5 years at 0%.
So my recommendation is always to wait until you see it in writing, because there's usually small print that states.
Yeah, but
something.
here's the thing, if that was represented to us, and that's not the situation now, then I have a problem with the whole purchase.
I think that during these flurry of emails that were going around regarding the election machines, that, I think the vendor was trying to work things out, we were trying to work things out, and I don't think it was intentional, but I don't really think they knew whether there was a 0% option. And so I think what happened was, we assumed that there was gonna be a lease option with 0% interest. And so then we got that in our minds, and then Dana came along and said that you should always wait until you get the agreement, because, you know, things have a tendency to change, and we don't have anything in writing, there's nothing written in stone, and it was not the fault of the vendor, nor was it the fault of Bethany.
But the question is, did the vendor represent to us at any time that it would be 0%? Or did we said we assumed, did we have reason to assume it? Were we given, were we misled?
No, it was not the vendor, no, it wasn't, I think it was just, it was my misunderstanding.
My question, I'll try to rephrase it. Can we go to the vendor directly and say, on our business, give us a 5-year plan?
No.
No.
You would have to bid because you're doing it outside of
All right,
CoStars.
and we could bid it outside of CoStars.
You can go to bid
With one
outside
of the
of
stipulations being in our RFP, correct me if I'm wrong, we want a 5-year payment plan with 0% interest.
Right, you can do
We
that.
could do that.
But the possibility of finding a vendor to do that, as Ron suggested in his comment, is they typically use a third-party financing agency. So they'd have to take the price without financing over a 5-year period. Whether they'll do that, I don't know.
Well, if we want to stick with ESS, you got one thing, basically. And then there's 2 different issues, the purchase and then there's the finance. So the question is whether ES&S would be willing to work on our behalf to find favorable financing, which generally means they would have to eat the cost, because the financing agent's going to be zero. No independent financing agency.
would have to do the financing independently, because I believe the CoStar's contract says if we want to finance, we have to use this third-party vendor, but that doesn't preclude us from doing a bond issue or a loan through a bank or something like that.
Have we
But
talked,
we're still gonna have
have we
interest
talked
in
to
that.
ES&S about any options?
Well, no, because I was under the impression we were going with CoStar, so they dictate all of those.
Well, CoStar's has locked us into something that the commissioners in general find very unappetizing. So obviously, we're looking for alternatives and maybe think beyond CoStar and just kind of throw that out for a moment. So, there are lots of companies, granted on a much different scale than the ES&S, who actually have a financing arm to help so they can push their products. And they work through that, some of them extremely favorable. It used to be just big companies, GE, I think it was one of them that started it, and now there's lots of companies that have a financing arm or arrangement to help with that. So unless we know for sure that ES&S can't make some special provision on our case, I would hesitate to approve anything that's talking about additional borrowing or anything. So I would like to, my question is it feasible for us to engage ES&S directly? Or, as you say, if it has to be bid, then we get into the situation of writing specs to a single vendor, which of course can be problematic. So, but I'm just kind of trying to put all the options out here. And unless we're talking to ES&S, we don't know if they're willing to do this.
Right, and I'd recommend that there be discussion with that vendor about a possible private purchase. And that can help guide us in doing the specifications for the request for proposals.
What does that do to us time-wise? What's our constraint?
Well,
Does that set us up?
I originally told them we'd like to start receiving the machines by December 1st.
Yeah.
And so I was told that to guarantee that, we needed the PO in by the end of September. Now, I think they would still work with me to get them, I'd like them by January 1st. I told them December 1st, so.
So Keith, you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, phone call to the vendor wouldn't hurt.
No, it would not.
We should do that.
Yeah.
So the CoStar's also has fine print on the lease that we can negotiate with the lease company, but they're not gonna give us 0% rate. I don't see them going under 3% in the current market.
And what's in the proposal? What's the current rate?
5%.
Well, 3's a lot better than 5.
Yeah.
That's what you were talking.
However, if we're getting the grant is not gonna reimburse us for any of the interest, so that will be,
That's out of pocket.
that's out of pocket.
So grant's not that. I think the only good news we received this week is the machine is certified again.
Right. Well, it was never on, sir.
That was never on.
Re-examined and everything's
It's
fine.
So that's good.
Yeah.
What I had understood from our representative from the governor's office is that we should receive some information before the end of this month. In fact, the entity that supposedly is going to be floating bonds, providing funding is to meet this month. And they can't take action until they actually float the bonds and that. So my understanding is that the governor is still 100% on board with providing this funding. Hopefully the legislature might actually consider taking final action on it as well as they come back to session. So, in terms of the 60%, it's certainly not assured, but I think that it's something hopefully we can anticipate. And that's one of the questions. But I understand that you've fallen on the sword today, but somewhere along, I can't believe that you would have misrepresented the fact that somewhere along the way, you had the impression or understanding from the company that we could get the machines at 0% over the course of 5-year purchase. So we need to, I think, explore this a little bit further. Like I said, I'm ready to go out and bid if that's what we have to do. The other thing I wanted to ask, though, is you, in your email to us Tuesday, you mentioned mentioned also in terms of the total price, I just want to clarify this. You said cost of larger trucks for delivery demonstrations. We're not actually buying trucks, right?
No, we rent them
Okay.
twice a year before the primary report. Yeah, and then we'll probably have to
So it's
rent
the rental,
some
it's
to
the
do.
rental of larger trucks.
Right, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So this is just the latest wrinkle in this whole pile of this dump on this, but that's right, yes, but it's, your main call was appreciated, but probably not great significance. It's appreciated. So, no problem if it's just going to be over the price, how we do it.
So, sounds like we have to build it, right?
Yes.
I may suggest, my colleagues' approval, let's contact the vendor. Let's look at other methods of finance. Sound reasonable?
So who's making that call? Is it Dana? Is it Bethany? Or who's the right person?
We'll check into other forms of financing. It'll probably, if we go forward, it'll probably be a negotiated either lease or bank loan with a Georgetown or somebody like that. I named
Who's
Georgetown,
calling
that's not
ESS? And I would presume that's going to happen today. Who's calling ESS?
She would call ESS, we can reach out to the lease company.
All right. Just keep us updated with the progress. We'll be asking for sure.
Okay, any questions for that?
Thank you.
I
Thank
think she
you.
does.
Next, we move on to agenda item 7, contracts and grants. Agenda item 7, number 1, A to C, existing contract extensions, and addendum, no additional costs or increases and decreases to the county. They include bond departments. There are 6 agreements for children and youth, 4 agreements for MHIPD, and 2 agreements for public safety. Commissioner, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any of the above-mentioned agreements? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7, number 2, which consists of new contracts, vendors, services, grants, and contracts for costs, increases and decreases to the county. And I'll be calling on Jen to discuss the 3 agreements for aging consumer services. Jen?
Good morning. First one is for Safe Harbor, it's an addendum to last year's contract, we're giving them an additional $5,000, bringing the total contract to $50,000. Second one is Safe Harbor's new contract for the 1920 year. The new contract total is going to be $40,000, which is a decrease of $5,000 from last year. And the third one is domestic violence services. It's also an addendum giving them an additional $2,500 to last year's contract.
Commissioner, do you have any questions for Jen? Thank you, Jen. Next, I'd like to call on Jamie to discuss the agreement for children and youth. Jamie?
Morning, Commissioners. This is our 1920 contract with a program called the Impact Project. There are actually no increases to their programs this year. However, we are adding 5 additional levels of foster care in hopes that they can help with some of our more trying children that have multiple mental health diagnoses and are having a difficult time finding places for them. All of those foster care levels are within the state maximum allowable.
Any questions for Jane? Thank you, Jane. Next, move on to agenda item C, and Melissa Smith is joining us, BTC, to discuss the agreement with the nursing home. Melissa?
Good morning, everyone. I have before you a contract with Prominent Medical Staffing to provide temporary nursing staff to the facility. The rates
Melissa?
are within, what we're, yeah,
Can you, do you have volume? Can you turn it
Yes.
up a little bit?
we had this problem before. How's that? Is that any better?
Can you hear?
I can
No.
hear you.
It's up as high as it'll go.
Okay, that's okay. You have it up.
We'll be fine as long as everybody hears it. Immediately reply.
Okay, go ahead, Melissa.
Agent, okay, it's a contract for temporary nursing staff. The agency is Prominent Medical Staffing. The rates for RNs, LPNs, and CNAs are in line with what we pay with other agencies.
Any questions from Melissa? Okay, thank you, Melissa. Next,
Thank
we'll
you.
move on to agenda item B, and I'll call on Eric to discuss the agreement for the district attorney's CID. Oh,
Sorry,
yes,
for
I'm sorry.
I'm the boss there, sorry. Hi, Art.
You got shorter.
This is information on a crash investigation team. We had the equipment in forensics for a long time. The problem has developed. You can get officers and volunteer for this from the municipalities to become experts in crash reconstruction. This is really important evidence now because everybody, jurors are more CSI oriented. They want all the details. And there's a lot to be collected now because of the computers on the cars and everything else. You can get officers to come out and do the work at the scene, and Corporal Fairwecker, who's a retired state trooper, is going to additionally train them. The problem then becomes who does the analysis and comes in to testify on behalf of the Commonwealth in the case at trial. So this is really a question of it's, I know there was a number quoted, but it's an expert witness fee is really what it is. And he does this. I obviously worked with him before when he was in active duty, and he's really good. There's a similar contract with York County. That's where we got the idea.
So this is just as an as-needed basis?
Yeah. We don't have any, and this is in every fender. We're talking about the kind of accident where that teacher lost her leg, it's that kind of a case. So, and I have the absolute power to say they go or they don't go. We're not paying for every little fender.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And next one is on to agenda item E, and Jack Farrell will discuss the agreement with drug and alcohol.
Good morning, Commissioners. This agreement is between Cumberland County and Perry County. In the spring, we applied for funding from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency to start a Vivitrol program in the Perry County Prison. As you know, we've had one in operation for a couple of years here in Cumberland County, but they have not in Perry County. Our grant application was successful. We received funding for a 2-year period, and so this will allow us to reimburse the Perry County Prison for the cost of Vivitrol injections in that program across the 2-year period.
Any questions for Jack? Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to agenda item F, and Annie Stripes joining us BTC to discuss the agreements for NHIDD. Annie?
Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to present 3 contracts here. The first is with the Devereaux Foundation. It's a contract for fiscal year 1920. There is an increase in the contract of $5,200 over 1819's budget, and the services that Devereaux provides from the ID side of our office is residential and support in a medical environment for individuals with intellectual disabilities. And then the next is with fiscal year 1819. It's actually for early intervention. This is an amendment of UCP contract, and that's for an additional $2,369 due to additional services that were provided under Pelican. And the services that UCP provides for early intervention is specific to the mapping project, nutrition services, and occupational and physical and speech therapies, as well as special instruction for children birth to 3. And the final contract is for early intervention. It's for fiscal year 1920, and it is for UCP. And it is, again, an addition over the contract that we just discussed with this coming fiscal year. And it's for the same thing, nutrition support, occupational and physical therapy, and speech therapies. And it's an increase of $3,700 over the 18-19 contract.
Annie,
Yeah.
there's one here with Harrisburg Home Health Holdings, LLC, doing business as Angels on Call. You have that contract?
Oh, I apologize. Yes, we do. Actually, I'm not seeing that here in the list that, oh, I take it back. Yes, here it is. I apologize. 1920, yes, and it's an increase of $25,840 over fiscal year 18-19. And it's based on services that were authorized under HICSIS. And the services that are provided by Home Health Holdings, Harrisburg Home Health Holdings, is companion services and in-home and community support for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any?
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, Annie. Okay, next we'll move on to the agenda item G, and I'll call Bob Schreiber to discuss public safety agreement on Franklin County Department of Emergency Services. Bob?
Yes, this is a memorandum of understanding between Franklin County Emergency Services and the Cumberland County Department of Public Safety. This is a follow-up to the large tractor-trailer fire hazmat incident that was on the interstate in Franklin County back on Thanksgiving Day of 2016, where Franklin County and their legal counsel worked to do the hazmat cost recovery. They kind of did after the fact coordination with all the agencies and working through agreements with the agencies to do that legal cost recovery. So they're looking to do the MOU that would, in the future, if there was legal issues with trying to do cost recovery, this is done in advance so that Franklin County's legal representation can work to do that cost recovery on behalf of the agencies. They are doing this with all the emergency services in Franklin County and wanted to do one with us as well. Keith did review this as solicitor and didn't have any issue with the agreement.
Any questions for Bob?
Just the date of the agreement?
If it's not correct, I can make
Sure
sure
it's
it's
up in.
we have been,
Is it retroactive to March 15th, March 15th?
we can make it current. Either way, we'll make it current. You can do that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Next, we move on to agenda item H, and Justin Miller is joining us, BTC, to discuss the 2 grant applications for recycling and waste. Justin?
Morning, Commissioners. So first item, a little while back, we approved the purchase of a new horizontal grinder for our yard waste recycling program. Final cost for that machine was $554,260. We have a grant agreement with DEP to reimburse us $350,000 of that price. So this is the application. We have an invoice in hand, we now send it to DEP, and then they'll issue us a check for $350,000. The difference, we have a capital fund that municipalities have been paid into. That was at about $277,000. So that $204,260 difference will come out of that capital fund.
Any questions for Justin?
So I just have one question. It's kind of peripheral, but the shift of funding out of the at the state out of the recycling, does that threaten future grants that we depend on for the grinders specifically?
I believe it does, because it reduces the pot that's available for recycling programs. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward if they have to further limit, grant amounts. These grants, they used to be $2 million max, now they're $350,000. That's my take on it.
Okay, thank you. It just keeps some perspective here on our part about what's going on. Thank you.
Okay, the second item
Before
is
you
for
move
our
on, I just
second.
want to, if I could just ask one, along what Gary, lines of what Gary mentioned. The legislature's continued, if you will, raid on these funding sources to balance general fund budget. That wasn't just a one-time deal, was it? That was, they've included that in, in the fiscal code to be something that occurs this year, next year, the following year, unless somebody goes back and corrects things. Am I right about that?
That's correct, and it's open-ended. It allows future transfers of money out of, I know some situations, like, I think it also applies to some of the other environmental funds.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a yellow triangle, microphone. I don't know what that means. That's exclamation point. Okay, second item, for second household hazardous waste event, which went really well. It was Saturday, August 17th. Very similar to our first event in terms of type and amount of material we received. The total cost for that event was $25,131.95. We brought in $9,355.10 from participants for a difference of $776.85. So DEP will give us 50% of the difference, $7,888. And this is an application requesting that
Okay, thank you, Justin. Next, we'll move on to agenda item 8, discussion of ordinance 2019-4 regarding the County of Cumberland imposing vehicle weight restrictions on Dickinson School Road T470 crossing the Yellow Reaches Creek in Dickinson Township. Yesterday, Commissioners, I presented you with an email, and there was also in your packet the ordinance, which seems to be self-explanatory. However, if you do have any additional questions, possibly Keith could help us out with any questions that you may have.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
It's a standard ordinance, I've done many of them for you.
So are you okay with that one?
This is okay to wait until Monday?
Yes, it's for acting on Monday.
You good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so agenda item 9 is a discussion of the HRD engineering agreement supplement for Wolf Bridge. I have also provided you in that email the description of agenda item 9, and the agreement is an update to HRD's engineering agreement for the Wolf Bridge project. It includes the construction, administration, and construction inspection tasks that HRD will be completing as part of the construction phase of this project. PennDOT has reviewed and approved the scope of work and cost proposal. The total cost of the addendum is $292,876. The recently approved reimbursement agreement for the project provides the funding to support this agreement. The $80,492 funding for the construction. Administration is 80% federal, 15% state, and 5% local. The county share is $4,024. The construction inspection phase will be funded 100% federally and will cost $212,383. These phases are typically phases of the construction project. So that was a description that Keith had provided to me. So if you have any additional questions on that, Herb will be available tomorrow until Monday to answer any of those additional questions you may have on that. So, okay, move forward to the next one.
Yeah, I have questions. I'll direct them to her.
Okay. Agenda item 10 agenda items 10 and 11 regarding agreed upon dates and processes for the transition to ICMA RC. Commissioners, please note that this is an action requested item today. Molly?
Good morning, Commissioners. As discussed at the retirement board meeting last Tuesday, we are moving forward with the process to transition our 457B from both Nationwide and VALIC to ICMA RC. And so this is the next step in the phase in that transition process is the transition agreements for both Nationwide and VALIC to outline the dates and as well as the processes for both of those transitions.
Any questions? Thank you. Oh, yeah, we need action on that.
So we need a motion to accept the dates and processes for transition of Cumberland County from Nationwide to ICMA-RC. Is there such a motion?
I move for approval.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Molly.
If the ballot runs.
Yeah, we need a similar motion from ballot to ICMA. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next is agenda item 12, discussion of capital project requests, and we'll begin with Eric to discuss the capital project for the turning CIP.
Good morning, I'm Skip Eber.
It was stupid to pass up.
You got much taller.
No, better looking too.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Eric's retiring at the end of the year.
But he wants to, or not.
Should be my 20-year penalty. All right, good morning, Commissioners. So the vehicle is a replacement vehicle for 2008. Its total cost is $45,162.79. That's the vehicle, that's the outfit, that's the cage, radios, console, the whole thing. Went out to 3 bids on co-stars for the vehicle at the lowest price.
Commissioners, any questions for Eric?
Unless we want to have another discussion on co-stars.
My favorite subject.
Next, I'd like to call on John Locke to discuss phase 2 space allocations capital project. John?
Good morning, Commissioners. This capital project is for phase 2 of the space allocation project. It's a portion of phase 2, which includes moving CID department and forensic department to 1601 Ritter Highway. And that will co-locate them with the current forensic garage and their forensic vehicles. We have been having monthly meetings with the forensic department, and we've gathered all the expenses that we know of. And this is the capital project that would include the minor renovation and also everything included with the moves.
Just involves CID.
CID and forensics.
So this is what you meant when you said Eric takes up a lot of space.
I can cut a lot of different ways, I'm not going there.
Any questions, Commissioners? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, I'd like to call on Ron Gaddis to discuss ITO capital project.
Morning, Commissioners. This is a little bit different than our normal fall life cycle. It is including our typical life cycle computers in the fall, but we're also under the requirement to upgrade any Windows 7 workstations to the new Windows 10. We're taking some of this and buying licenses, 250 licenses, to upgrade Windows 7 computers, $135 a piece. But there are some in the spring that we don't think it's worth spending that money to upgrade. We'd like to move those in the spring into the current life cycle. So we're bumping up about 50 computers into full replacement this year instead of spending the $135 and then replacing them again in the spring. So General fund is $117,670, and total capital is $174,320. Spring life cycle load will be very small next year, so we're talking a handful of computers. Just probably
I have a layman's question. It's been seeing a lot of headlines about Microsoft, about Windows 10 creating shutdown problems and some security upgrade or something that's introduced bugs into the system. And are we, if we're gonna make this move, are we certain we're getting something?
We already have a couple hundred computers on Windows 10 right now, 600 I think of them. So we're already well into, it's part of the patching process. So in the old days, they would just throw a patch. The new style is they're changing the versions of Windows 10. So it's similar. We have to change our process for staying on top of it, and we're keeping our systems up to date. We also have a system in place that vets all the systems and all the patches prior to delivering to us. So we do the pre-work up front, and then it comes to us 2 weeks later, and then we roll it out. So we're pretty aware of all the.
We'll take that as your personal guarantee that we have no problems whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we move on to the planning department, and there was a capital project for Roush, Gardner, and Stonewall Bridges. The project cost $4,717,000. In your packet, there was a request form and has each one outlined and the amount of money that it costs, which is also on the agenda. And these were already approved moving forward in the finance meeting, so I didn't anticipate any issues related to that. However, if you have them, you can also forward them to prior to Monday. Okay, next we'll move on to the Commissioner's liaison reports, and we'll begin with Commissioner DeFilippo.
Thanks, Cindy. I have none this cycle, but next cycle I will have 4, which will be the Local Emergency Planning Commission, Western Cog, which didn't meet this month, Library Board, Citizen Advisory Board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hurst.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. I attended the meeting of the Cumberland and York Area Local Defense Group Strategic Positioning Committee at Hampton Township last Tuesday morning. There was a discussion of a pending elected officials military leadership event, possibly to be held sometime next month, to bring together the area's military officials, elected congressional, state, and county officials. They were looking to hold it at AHEC, but it looks now like they're eyeing the Susquehanna Club at New Cumberland. There was also discussion of the potential of rebranding, renaming our local defense group to the Capital Region Local Defense Group. But I indicated that I thought that not likely fly here in Cumberland County until our surrounding county government partners of Dauphin and York agreed to provide funding toward the effort. Jamie Keener indicated that he would be involved with outreach to Dauphin and York counties in the near future. South Middleton Township is apparently in active discussions regarding the future of the Carlisle Airport. The committee asked that the Carlisle Airport feasibility study prepared for our defense group in Katy be shared with South Middleton Township officials. And Buck Swisher, who is a member of the committee, was going to be handling that. Finally, there was a discussion along the lines of Katy, the Cumberland York Area Local Defense Group, assisting Claremont in its exploration of our county's nursing home, exploring the possibility of dedicating a wing for the rehab and nursing home care of our area's veterans, understanding that currently the closest state veterans home to serve the nursing home needs of our aging veterans is Hollidaysburg. The Cumberland County Conservation District Board met Tuesday evening, August 27th. The board recommended a conservation district budget of $1.5 million for 2020, with 65% of the budget coming from state funds, 26% from permit fees, and only 9% in county subsidy. Funded entirely from district fees and permits, the county is, the Conservation District is going to all electronic in its erosion and sedimentation control program in 2020. No more paper blueprints, the district plans to conduct a training session for engineers at no cost to the engineers. In the upcoming year, the Conservation District also plans to apply for a strategic planning grant to update its 10-year-old strategic plan. Letters are going out in the middle of the month to gauge farmer interest in the county's cover crop incentive program with a sign-up deadline of December 1st. Funding for the cover crop program in the coming year to come from both Marcellus shale revenues and funding from the Mariner East grant derived from fines paid by some of the pipeline for environmental violations. There was discussion regarding legislation, Senate Bill 619 that passed the state Senate 26 to 24 just before the summer break. That critics contend would change the definition of water pollution under the state Clean Streams Law, making most spills and discharges to rivers and streams no longer pollution. Among the critics of the proposal is former DEP Secretary Dave Hess, who served in the administration of former Governor Tom Ridge, and who before that served as the Executive Director of the State Senate's Environmental Resources and Energy Committee. The legislation in question is in the State House, and whether or not we call it for the Conservation District, meanwhile, received an excellent audit from County Controller Al Whitcomb. The audit found no deficiencies in internal control, considered to be a material weakness, and as has occurred in previous years, the control issued a signed letter commending the Conservation District for its, quote, exceptional ongoing fundraising efforts, end quote, that help support and fund, quote, conservation activities and programs, end quote. As my colleagues are aware, nutrient management specialist Jared McIntyre, who has been with us for 5 years, has tendered his resignation so that he can devote full-time to the turkey operation that he and his wife are involved with, and interviews for Jared's replacement are expected to begin soon. And finally, the district is mulling over its consideration of an offer by the State Department of Environmental Protection to pilot as one of only 4 counties in the state, Adams, Chester, and Lancaster are the others. The implementation phase of the Chesapeake Bay Agricultural Inspection Program, which has been allocated more than $2.5 million for the implementation of best management practices to guard against storm runoff. That's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Eichelberg.
Yeah, I just want to follow up. Jim, you mentioned about the Carlisle Airport, and that was that coming from the defense group? The defense?
Well, there was as you know, there was a feasibility study that was done in part by the defense group, and so there was discussion at this meeting about the Carlisle Airport, but the discussion centered on the fact that South Middleton Township is apparently looking at options relative to this, and the thought was that the feasibility study should be shared.
Okay, so it's the defense group's feasibility study, not the county's study.
It was actually Katie and the defense group study.
I see. Okay. All right, and that inquiry came from what?
It came up during this meeting last Tuesday. I think the discussion, well, it was on the agenda. I'm not sure who prepared the agenda, but the Carlisle Airport came up for discussion. Yeah. And Buck was going to be in discussions with Corey at South Middleton.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this has a long story history, so I just want to make sure all the players are connected to one another. Because this is, South Melbourne's involved is sort of the wrinkle to this, and I want to make sure that Max goes, and I'll be in touch with you.
No problem. I just wanted to share
No,
what I heard.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm glad I'm aware of that. I'm sorry that meeting was stuff, so. Okay, I just have some brief stuff. The MH contracts we handled earlier, and planning commission is going to have 3 vacancies this year, so I think Kirk already has a few names, but if there's anyone else who provided that, we're going to be going through that process and help vetting folks for that. And also we had some discussion here regarding the task force to take on the transit alternatives issue, and Kirk and I had a discussion on that, and he's suggesting, well, actually my suggestion, he's exploring the idea that we reinvigorate the transportation committee that was originally formed as a substitute for the transportation authority that we put into hibernation about 11 years ago, I think. And so it would happen under the auspices of the planning department if the commissioners approved, and it would be centered around 2 or 3 planning commission members, one of whom, or at least one of the prospective members who would be very knowledgeable on that topic, and then he could bring in others to participate in the committee, including Kate, which we had some discussion about them wanting involvement in some of the chambers as well. So we've had some discussion about the right way to make this task force, to form it and to make sure that it's got its mission defined, and it's we've got a champion for the topic. So that's ongoing. I'll let you know if there's any more developments on that, of course. We heard from Joe regarding the recycling, the contracts with the grinder and everything. That's, we do need to keep a long-term perspective on that, because these things wear out, and every few years we go back for grants. And if it looks like those grants aren't going to be there in the future, then we don't want to be caught flat-footed and unprepared for that, or else we're just going to be getting out of that business altogether. So we need to engage the Commonwealth on that on an ongoing basis, and not wait for that, not wait for the stuff to hit the fan. So also, Judd mentioned the second household hazardous waste recycling event being very successful. He sent me some detailed information on the collections, and I can share that with you if you want the details. He said, once again, paint was by far the outstanding collectible, and gave you some updated numbers on the electronic recycling center. Those. Yeah, for this year, so far, 212,599 pounds materials collected. The total number since inception is 844,067 pounds. So it continues to be a very positive development for this county, and continues to have very strong collections through 2018, which I think is our third part of the year. So that's everything.
I would like to report that an executive session was held on the following date in 2019, August 29th at 1:30 p.m. regarding personnel issues. I would also like to request an executive session be held directly following this meeting regarding personnel issues as well. Under other business, commissioners, I just wanted to let you know that I received the questions and responses back from Toby for the transit, help for the transit option summit, and I've asked that they can post it to our website, and that we will be sending out an email to everybody who's participating in that event with links that they can read the information. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board today?